This is Geometry, Semester 1. This is the first unit, Shapes. And this is the first lesson, Circle, Triangle, Square Practice. It's on creatormath.com under the Geometry tab. Here are the directions. Copy the following problems into your composition book on the correct pages according to the table of contents with the notes for those pages from creatormath.com. And just to show that, so make sure you're going to creatormath.weebly.com. You might have to search on Google by putting the .weebly in there. When you get to the home page, it looks something like this. That's how you know you're in the right place. We're going to go to Geometry. Pass by the vocabulary and then find the right semester. This one happens to say Semester 2 up front. Sometimes Semester 1's up front, sometimes Semester 2. But find Semester 1 right here. There you go. This is the table of contents. This needs to be copied onto pages 2 through 6 of your composition book. Please see the video on how to number those pages to get that right. Here it says Semester 1. All of this gets copied in. If we go right down to Unit 1, it's this here, Shapes, and Lesson 1 here. We'll see notes, if you collect notes. And sometimes I have to load it twice, you might or might not. There, that one loaded right up pretty quickly, and it's a picture of the board. These notes go into the correct pages on your comp book. And it'll talk about what a circle is, the set of all points equidistant from the center, and some different parts, a diameter, a radius, a chord, a square, what 90-degree angles are, what hash marks are, and tick marks or hash marks or 90-degree angles, just all kinds of basics. Tick marks show different side links. This all goes into your composition book. There's vocabulary, circle, diameter, radius, center, chord, square, 90-degree angle. And where does this go? This goes on the right page numbers in your comp book. Please see the table of contents when you're looking at this. By the time you look at this video, it'll probably be different. But just so you know, all of these notes go on a specific page in the comp book, and then these problems that we do go on those same pages, right? Follow that table of contents. So, given the following diagram, what is line segment A called? So here's line segment A. It goes across here. Right, there it is, all the way across. So that's the diameter. It's the distance from circle to circle through the center, and so circle diameter here. Now remember, my answer is going to come up A all the time. On yours, it's going to be randomized. That's the diameter. The next one is, given the following diagram, what's segment B? All right, from the center to the circle is called the radius. We're starting very simply here. We always ask students to, well, I ask students to come up with some word. Like I heard once, rat, right? A rat is small. And for diameter, some kind of D word like dinosaur. Right, so a dinosaur is big, so it's the line all the way across, the larger line. The radius is small, or the rat is small, so the radius is the half that. And radius is, this sets up an interesting equation. 2r equals d, there's two radiuses in a diameter, and a radius equals 1/2 diameter. Or you could say radius equals diameter over 2, either way. So these equations are very simple, but nonetheless, I've seen them give students quite a bit of challenge. So just think about that a little bit. This piece is half the size of this piece, right? The radius is half the size of the diameter, and the diameter is twice the size of the radius. Given the following diagram, what is line segment C called? So line segment C goes from circle to circle, but not through the center. This is called a chord. And it says pronounced chord here. I might go back and make this K-O-R-D, chord. All right, I know it's C-H. Sometimes we want to say chord, but it's not. It's chord. All right, so chord. Let's see what else they're asking us. Given the following diagram, what is point D? D is the center. All right, so point D is the center. All right, so given the following diagram, what is the distance around the shape called? So say you start here, right? We go around the shape. What is this distance called? It's called the circumference. A good mislead might have been perimeter here. Perimeter. If it's another shape like a square or a rectangle or a triangle, perimeter means the distance around the shape. But once we get to a circle, it's called a circumference. And there is a formula for it, 2 pi r, but we'll talk about that later. Right? Given the following figure, how many sides does it have? Wow, we're really going for the basics. 1, 2, 3. Oh. The flat surfaces are the sides. Given the following figure, this might be a little bit more complicated. How many angles does it have? This is an angle here, 1. This one's, notice it's got 2 marks, 2. This one has 3 tick marks, 1, 2, 3. There's 1, 2, 3 angles. 3 sides, 3 angles. Given the following figure, what do the tick marks on the sides tell us about the length of the side? So notice right here there's a tick mark. There's 1 here, there's 2 here, and there's 1, 2, 3 here. A little bit small, a little bit hard to see. The tick marks tell us that this side is a different length than this side, which is a different length than this side. If we had a triangle where they all had 1 tick mark, it would tell us that all 3 sides are the exact same length. If we had a triangle with 1 on 2 of the sides and then another one with 2, it would tell us these 2 sides are the same length and this one is a different length than those 2 sides. So tick marks on the sides tell us about lengths. So because the sides have a different number of tick marks, the sides are different lengths. Even the answer sort of explains to us what's going on. Given the following figure, what do the tick marks on the angles tell us about the relative size of the angles? So there's 1 tick mark here. This is called a tick mark. There's 2 here, and they're kind of close together, so I'll draw over them. And there's 3 here. So this tells us that this angle is a different measure than this angle, and this angle is a different measure than this angle, and this angle is a different measure from both those angles. This is a different measure from both those. If we had a triangle where we had a single tick mark across all 3, those 3 would all be the same measure of degrees. And say we had one like this, where this and these 2 were the same. These 2 base angles would be the same because of a single tick mark, and this would be 2 tick marks because it's different from those 2. Given the following figure, what unit does the small circle on the numbers represent as in A? Oh, so right here, A, this one, this one, this one. This is the degree mark. So if I have 54 and I put a small circle on it, it means degrees, D-E-G-R-E-E-S. In a circle, there are 360 degrees. That makes this 90 degrees, this 90 degrees, this 90. These are all degrees. It's a definition. We defined the circle to have 360 degrees. So if you just break a circle up into 360 of these units, that's what 1 degree is. Given the following figure, what is the total number of degrees of the 3 angles? Angle A plus angle B plus angle C. So this is now a fundamental understanding of the triangle. A triangle has 3 angles. The sum of the angles are always 180 degrees. Given the following figure, which is a triangle, what is the total number of degrees of the 3 angles? So angle A plus angle B plus angle C always, always, always must be 180 degrees. It is a fundamental understanding of triangles, and it's one of the things that we can look at our universe and go, don't we live in a randomly designed universe? Well, how can every triangle, no matter what its shape, right? So this is a different type of triangle. Here's a different type of triangle. If you add up 1, 2, 3 angles, 1, 2, 3 angles, they will always add up to 180 degrees. Doesn't seem very randomly designed from that perspective now, does it? So given the following figure, what do the squares in the corners mean? See the square? It means that the measure of that angle is exactly 90 degrees, otherwise known as a right angle. Right? So those angles are 90 degrees. That's what they mean. And so if I draw a triangle for you like this and put a square down here, what's it mean? This angle is 90 degrees. Given the following figure, what do the circled tick marks mean? So notice right here there's a side. There's one tick mark arrow, 1, 2 tick mark arrows, and 1, 2 tick mark arrows. That means that these two sides are parallel. Parallel means they lie in the same plane and they never cross and never touch. So if I draw two lines for you, if I put one tick mark here, it says those two are parallel. Now let's take a second set. Let's say I drew another one here and I tell you these are parallel. I would use two tick mark arrows because these two are parallel to each other, but this one is not parallel to that one, if that makes sense. I can use any number of arrowheads to designate parallel. If I have multiple lines, all of them parallel, I could use one on each, and that would show that all three of these are parallel. And even though I don't draw them perfectly, your brain now can say these are parallel. They lie in the same plane, and they never touch or cross. So the sides with the arrow tick marks are parallel. Notice this one has one arrow here and here. Perfect. Right? That tells us that this pair of lines are parallel, and this pair of lines are parallel. Or in this case, I guess they're line segments, because they have an end to them. Given the following figure, what do these circled tick marks mean? So this side with one tick mark and this side with one tick mark means they are the same length. They are the same length. If I told you this was 5 feet, you would know this was 5 feet. Now notice these sides here too also have a single tick mark. That means they are all the same sides. All four of these sides are the same length. So the sides with the line tick marks are the same length. All right, so make sure you're in the right place. Make sure you're in Geometry, Semester 1. This is Unit 1 Shapes, and it is the first lesson, Circle, Triangle, Square Practice. All right, and it's on creatormath.com under the Geometry tab. Hope this helps.